Tonight, we have breaking news just as we come on the air tonight. The images coming in right now. The tornadoes touching down, the harrowing video we'll show you in just a moment. Also, this deadly turbulence slamming a passenger jet. Many passengers violently sent into the ceiling. The flight from London to Singapore, a passenger possibly suffering a fatal heart attack. Many screaming in pain. Dozens of passengers and crew rushed to the hospital, including Americans. Some of the patients in critical condition tonight. The images inside the cabin, oxygen masks dangling over seats, injured passengers being treated on the tarmac. Also tonight, these horrific images just coming in, the reported tornadoes, and there are watches and warnings up at this hour across several states. The National Weather Service tonight calling it a particularly dangerous situation. From Texas all the way up to Michigan tonight. Just in this evening, the Pentagon now confirming reports that Russia launched a counter space weapon capable of attacking and possibly destroying U.S. and other satellites. And so Martha Raddatz is standing by with late reporting for us. Tonight, the criminal trial of Donald Trump. The defense resting its case without Donald Trump taking the stand. Tonight, when this now goes to the jury. The race for the White House, and this evening, Donald Trump's new comments about birth control. What he said when asked would he support restricting contraception. The Biden campaign outraged tonight, their response. Tonight, the push to free 5 Americans being held in Turks and Caicos, each possibly facing at least 12 years in prison after ammunition was found in their luggage. What's being done to get them out? Will it work? Tonight, the headline involving Graceland. Is it done? Targeted for foreclosure. What Elvis Presley's granddaughter is trying to do. The U.S. National Park and the tourist attacked by a grizzly bear. The death of Matthew Perry and the turn tonight in the investigation. And for the first time since Michael Jordan, Wilson creating a signature basketball for someone else. You can guess her name.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. We have images just coming in at this hour, reported tornadoes on the ground, watches and warnings up right now across several states. But we do begin tonight with the deadly turbulence on a passenger jet, a Boeing 777 out of London bound for Singapore. The jet hitting turbulence at 37,000 feet, passengers and crew violently thrown around the cabin, some right into the ceiling, many of the passengers screaming in pain. The flight diverted to Bangkok, seen coming in for a landing at the end of this harrowing flight. Emergency teams rushing to the airport, dozens of passengers injured, including Americans. Several passengers in critical condition tonight, and a 73-year-old British man dying on that flight. Authorities say possibly suffering a fatal heart attack. ABC's Gio Benitez leading us off tonight.
Tonight, terror on the Singapore Airlines flight after the passenger jet was struck by severe turbulence 37,000 feet in the air, launching some passengers violently into the ceiling and leaving at least one man dead. The Boeing 777 traveling overnight from London to Singapore with 229 on board, including 4 American passengers. But nearly 10 hours into the flight, the aircraft suddenly hitting an air pocket over Myanmar.
The first thing comes to mind is just the objects flying, not knowing what's going on. It's a feeling of lack of control, loss of control, helplessness.
Andrew Davies says he and other passengers tried to help the injured.
The worst thing I saw was the 2 people who had very severe lacerations on the top of their head. There was a lady screaming in pain.
Tonight, new images from inside the plane show oxygen masks dangling from the ceiling, a dented overhead bin, and blood spatters on the back of a seat. Afterward, the pilots diverting and making an emergency landing in Bangkok, Thailand. First responders racing to the scene and removing this passenger from the plane on a stretcher, as others receive medical treatment under tents on the tarmac.
As of now, most commercial airplanes have no way to detect this kind of clear air turbulence. We believe that the weather was fairly good. We believe that the airplane had its weather radar on. The seatbelt sign apparently only came on a few seconds prior to hitting this turbulence.
Tonight, at least 71 people taken to the hospital, 2 of them Americans, 6 in critical condition. The passenger who lost his life, 73-year-old British national Jeff Kitchen. A Singapore airport manager says they believe the passenger may have suffered a heart attack, but that has not been confirmed. And David, this is just another reminder that even in clear weather, we should keep that seatbelt on because turbulence could happen at any moment. Meanwhile, tonight, Singapore Airlines says that it offers its deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. David.
Gio Benitez leading us off tonight. Gio, thank you. Now the story breaking as we're on the air tonight. These new images just coming in, reported tornadoes on the ground. As I mentioned, watches and warnings up across several states as we're on the air. The National Weather Service calling it a particularly dangerous situation. These are the images just in tonight. Look at this, stunning close-up images of a violent tornado. This is Carbon, Iowa. Debris from damaged homes swirling there as the tornado actually crosses the road. Here's the line to watch tonight. The severe weather warnings across much of the heartland. The threat this evening from Texas all the way up through western New York, up to Michigan as well. A dangerous night ahead for millions. The new track of these storms in the coming hours, and ABC's Victor Oquendo tracking it from the storm zone. He's in Iowa tonight.
Tonight, that dangerous situation unfolding in the heartland. Multiple tornadoes touching down already. A massive outbreak of severe weather.
There it is, people.
Storm chasers tracking this destructive tornado, flinging debris as it crosses a road near Carbon, Iowa, west of Des Moines. That storm chaser racing to this obliterated home to check for survivors.
Are you in shelter? All right, nobody's hurt?
The town of Greenfield, west of Des Moines, taking a direct hit. Ahead of the storms, Omaha swamped this morning with more than half a foot of rain. This car struggling to make it upstream. First responders using rope to rescue this man. Multiple vehicles stranded. This tornado south of Minneapolis, one of 3 reported overnight. And outside Denver, rain and hail swamped cars and stripped siding from homes. And tonight, 5 full days after a powerful derecho decimated Houston and Harris County, Texas, transmission towers still litter the landscape. The heat index for the next several days will stay around 100 degrees. And we've been hearing those tornado sirens across downtown Des Moines, where we're under a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch, until 9 p.m. local time. And take a look at this. The watch includes Iowa and parts of 7 other states. The threat of multiple intense, long-track tornadoes, along with winds gusting over 90 miles per hour and huge hail. And David, tomorrow that threat continues and spreads from Texas to western New York. David?
Victor Oquendo in Iowa for us tonight. Victor, thank you. There is also a breaking headline tonight involving Russia. The Pentagon just confirming reports that Russia likely launched what's called a counter-space weapon capable of attacking and possibly destroying U.S. satellites. It's now in the same orbit as a U.S. government satellite. So let's get right to ABC's Martha Raddatz on what this means. Martha, what have you learned?
David, this has been a significant concern for the Pentagon. It was last Thursday that Russia launched this satellite into low Earth orbit, a satellite that the Pentagon does believe is capable of attacking other satellites in low Earth orbit. This video from Russia's military appearing to show that launch. While there's no indication that Russia plans on attacking other satellites, and it is not the first time Russia has done this, when asked if the Russian counter-space weapon posed a threat to U.S. satellites, a Pentagon spokesman said it's a counter-space weapon in the same orbit as a U.S. government satellite. The deputy U.S. ambassador to the UN is calling this launch troubling. David?
Troubling indeed. You'll continue to track it for us, Martha. Thank you. We turn to the criminal trial of Donald Trump tonight. The defense this evening resting its case without Donald Trump taking the stand. And all afternoon, the judge conferring with both sides now about how he will instruct the jury in this case and when the jury will start deliberating. Aaron Katersky at the courthouse again tonight.
Donald Trump once seemed eager to testify in his own defense.
Yeah, I would testify, absolutely. Oh, sure, I'd very willingly take the stand.
But tonight, Trump's lawyers rested their case without ever calling the former president as a witness.
Very good. I think we have a great case was put on.
With testimony now complete, jurors were sent home, and the final phase of the trial got underway. Judge Juan Merchan and lawyers on both sides hashing out how he will instruct the jurors about the law before they start deliberating. It's a complicated case. Trump is accused of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money deal with porn star Stormy Daniels to keep their alleged sexual tryst from voters in the days before the 2016 election. Judge Merchan saying, we want to make it as easy as possible for the jury. Both sides argued over myriad issues. Prosecutors insisted the jury should be told they can convict Trump, even though he didn't personally doctor any business records himself, leaving it instead to accountants and bookkeepers. The defense pushed back on that. And Trump's lawyer Emil Bovey asked the judge to tell the jury hush money is not illegal. Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo fired back, though. What the defense is asking is for you to make their argument for them. When the conference wrapped up, Judge Merchan told the lawyers he'll take it all under consideration and provide them as jury instructions by Thursday to help them as they prepare to deliver their closing arguments. The jury's now off for a week, David, after hearing testimony from 22 witnesses and seeing nearly 300 pieces of evidence. In closing arguments next Tuesday, the defense will say none of it proves that former President Trump committed a crime, while prosecutors will argue that it all adds up to what they've called election fraud, pure and simple. By this time next Wednesday, David, the case should be in the hands of the jury. David.
A big week ahead next week indeed. Aaron Katersky again tonight. Now to the race for the White House tonight. Donald Trump's new comments about birth control. What he said when asked by a Pittsburgh TV station, would he support restricting contraception? The Biden campaign outraged tonight and their response. Here's our chief White House correspondent, Barry Bruce.
Donald Trump today suggesting he's open to restricting birth control if reelected, saying it's something he's looking at.
Do you support any restrictions on a person's right to contraception?
Well, we're looking at that, and I'm going to have a policy on that very shortly. And I think it's something that you'll find interesting. And it's another issue that's very interesting. But you will find it, I think, very smart. I think it's a smart decision. But we'll be releasing it very soon.
Trump this morning suggesting in an interview with a local Pittsburgh station that he'd support states making their own rules.
You may want to support some restrictions, like the morning after pill or something.
We are also, things really do have a lot to do with the states. And some states are going to have different policies than others.
Hours later, Trump trying to take it back, doing cleanup on social media, writing, "I have never and will never advocate imposing restrictions on birth control or other contraceptives." But he did not say that in the full interview, which was reviewed by ABC News. The Biden campaign tonight warning if Trump wins a second term, it's clear he wants to go even further by restricting access to birth control and emergency contraceptives. Trump tonight also under fire after this video was shared on his social media account.
What happens after Donald Trump wins?
The phrase unified Reich seen on screen, echoing Adolf Hitler's Third Reich and Nazi regime. The phrase appearing 3 times in hypothetical newspaper front pages celebrating a Trump victory, along with other anti-Semitic tropes. The Trump campaign adamant this was not a campaign video, that it was reposted by a staffer who clearly did not see the word while the president was in court. But that video that included 3 instances of the word Reich remained on Trump's page for more than 18 hours. The president sounding the alarm.
A unified Reich? That's Hitler's language. That's not America's.
His campaign noting it's not the first time Trump has used language that mirrors Hitler's.
This kind of rhetoric is unsurprising coming from the former president, and it is appalling. And we got to tell him who we are.
Now back to abortion, a pivotal issue in this race. The Trump campaign tonight tells us the former president was referring to mifepristone, the abortion pill, but that's not what he was asked about in that interview. In fact, abortion medication didn't come up at all. Trump clearly asked about contraception. David.
All right, Mary, the race for president is on, and we'll be covering it for the many months ahead. Thanks, Mary. Tonight, the new push here to free 5 Americans being held in Turks and Caicos, each possibly facing at least 12 years in prison after ammunition was found in their luggage. Tonight, the small bipartisan group of lawmakers trying to get them out. Here's ABC's Matt Rivers.
Tonight, several members of Congress pleading for leniency for the 5 Americans facing 12 years behind bars in Turks and Caicos, each charged with carrying ammunition to the Caribbean islands, each saying they forgot it was in their bag. A bipartisan delegation of lawmakers going to the territory, meeting with government officials, urging light sentences instead.
The Turks and Caicos government is targeting American citizens, putting them in front of their criminal justice system totally inappropriately.
The government saying it's just following the law. Hours ago, Tyler Wenrick, one of 5 Americans arrested since December, now facing jail time, told his sentence will be handed down within a week.
I have a lot of fear and anxiety as to what's going to happen.
The island's tough gun laws, meant to target rising violence there, also catching people like Sharita Greer, who claims she had no idea 2 loose rounds were in her bag.
I'm being torn away from my kids, my grandkids, my family. I'm broken. but I'm not broken into pieces, but I'm broken.
David, there's no question that each of these 5 Americans broke the law, and they have all pled guilty. But U.S. lawmakers are urging they be charged under customs law, resulting in deportation and fines rather than 12 years in prison. David?
All right, we'll see if it works. Matt Rivers tonight. Matt, thank you. In the meantime, we turn this evening to the surprising headline involving Graceland, the famed home of Elvis Presley, targeted now for foreclosure. Tonight, Elvis's granddaughter trying to block the auction. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
For worldwide fans of Elvis Presley who still think of Graceland as sacred ground, the developments tonight are stunning. That the Memphis mansion is up on the auction block to pay off what creditors say is a family debt. But tonight, Elvis's granddaughter, who inherited the mansion from her mother, is fighting this, accusing those same creditors of trying to pull off what she says is a fraudulent sale. The people trying to take the property claim that before she died last year, Lisa Marie Presley took out a loan for $3.8 million and used Graceland as collateral. But Riley Keough, Presley's daughter, Elvis's granddaughter, and the current owner, says in a counter lawsuit that her mother did not borrow anything. She also says that the documents are forgeries, and she shares a sworn statement from the notary whose signature appears on loan documents, saying that I have never met Lisa Marie Presley, nor have I ever notarized a document signed by Lisa Marie Presley. We were at Graceland when the family was helping to promote the Oscar-nominated movie Elvis, with leading actor Austin Butler.
At this moment, we are in Graceland. We are in the Jungle Room. I'm here with Austin Butler, the incredible Austin Butler.
It's a major tourist attraction that pulls in millions of dollars each year for the Presley heirs.
ABC News has tried reaching out to the investment and lending firm behind all of this, and we're finding that the phone numbers are disconnected and the emails are bouncing back. There's a court hearing tomorrow where the family is asking the court to kill this auction. David?
All right, Steve, we'll watch it. Thanks. There is one note on the economy tonight and on gas prices. The Biden administration releasing 1 million barrels of gasoline from the strategic reserves. The oil held in reserve in New Jersey and Maine since Superstorm Sandy will now be sold at competitive prices in a bid to lower the price at the pump. Gas prices averaging about $3.58 nationwide. That's up about 7 cents from this time last year. When we come back tonight, the real scare at a U.S. national park, the tourist attacked by a grizzly bear. Also tonight, the death of Matthew Perry and the new turn in this investigation. Tonight, a tourist has been severely injured in a grizzly bear attack at Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Park officials say the man unexpectedly came upon 2 grizzlies, one of them attacking. The man severely injured in stable condition tonight. When we come back, the death of Matthew Perry and the new turn tonight. And for the first time since Michael Jordan, Wilson and its new signature basketball for someone else. You can guess. To the index, authorities revealing the death of actor Matthew Perry is now under criminal investigation. The medical examiner ruling he died of acute effects of ketamine in October. Police and federal investigators now trying to find the source. For the first time since Michael Jordan, Wilson signing a signature basketball deal with Caitlin Clark. A multi-year deal, financial details not released. The first ever female athlete to have her own collection with Wilson. It's pretty cool. When we come back here tonight, the family dog stuck inside the wall of their home and what it took to get her out. Finally tonight here, America Strong. The family dog, she got herself into a tight spot. In Garden Grove, California, just outside Anaheim, one remarkable rescue tonight. The Orange County Fire Authority right there inside the Nguyen family home. The family's 2-year-old golden retriever mix named Faye was trapped behind the wall. She had crawled under the house and up into the wall. She was stuck there for hours. Using thermal imaging, firefighters locating her exact location.
What's up, Faye?
Breaking through the wall.
Come on, girl. Okay.
Whistling, trying to coax her out. Hammering more of the wall away, you can see Faye looking out through the hole. Pulling the drywall away with her hands.
Come on.
Faye peeking out.
Come on, girl.
Looking around and then walking out to the firefighters.
Hey.
And right here tonight.
Hey, what's up, David? I'm Julian Nguyen, and this is my dog, Faye. Ready?
Faye with her owner, Julian, and the family message to those firefighters.
The moment I saw the fire truck in front of my house, a sense of relief just washed all over me. Thank you for getting Faye out of the hole.
And joining us too,
hey David,
firefighter Chris Donaldson, who helped rescue Faye.
Definitely felt good to save the dog and help the family. Just a part of what we do as firefighters, helping people every single day.
We are glad Faye is okay. She's going to use the front door next time. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Until then, good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.